Picture this. It is 9:22 p.m., Sunday night. A man, let's call him Maxi, is sitting at his kitchen table, laptop open, half-eaten dinner pushed to the side. He has been staring at a spreadsheet for the last 40 minutes. Not because he is bad at math, because the math is not making sense. He and his wife both work, good jobs, real careers. Combined, they are pulling in over $130,000 a year. And yet, the savings account looks almost the same as it did 18 months ago. The credit card has a balance, the emergency fund is thin, and Maxi keeps running the same calculation over and over, hoping the answer changes. It does not. He looks tired, not sleepy tired, the other kind. The kind that comes from working hard, doing everything right, and still feeling like you are running in place. Because here is what Maxi was told. Here is what we were all told. 2 incomes are better than 1. It is obvious, right? Practically mathematical. If one person earning $65,000 can support a family, then 2 people earning $65,000 each should do the same and have an entire extra income left over. For savings, for investments, for real wealth. That is the promise. Work hard, both of you. Combine those paychecks, and financial security follows. Except Maxi is living proof that it does not. And tonight, staring at that spreadsheet, he is about to find out why. I call this the double income illusion. The belief that 2 incomes automatically equals double the financial strength. It sounds so logical that almost nobody questions it. And that is exactly why it is so expensive. Let us run the real math, because this is where the illusion starts to crack. Maxi earns $71,000. His wife earns $62,000. Combined, $133,000. Feels strong, feels like exactly what they were promised. Now, let us look at what actually happens to that $62,000 second income. Write these numbers down. First stop, taxes. Because of how progressive tax brackets work, the second income does not get taxed like a fresh standalone salary. It lands on top of the first income. Every dollar she earns gets pushed into the highest brackets first. Federal, state, payroll. The effective rate on that second income, 30 to 35%. That's $62,000. Becomes roughly $40,000 to $43,000 in take-home pay. Just like that, $19,000 to $22,000 is gone before a single bill is paid. But it gets worse. 2 kids in daycare. Childcare costs around $15,000 per year, per child. 2 kids. That is $30,000 per year. That $40,000 take-home just became $10,000. And then there is the second commute, gas, maintenance, vehicle wear, parking, roughly $8,000 per year. For that second working parent to physically get to and from work. That $10,000 is now $2,000. And then, this is the part Maxi never even considered, the exhaustion costs. 2 people grinding full-time means nobody has the energy to cook, clean, or handle the 100 small tasks that keep a household running. So you order delivery 3 nights a week, you pay for house cleaning, you buy the convenience everything, because survival demands it. Researchers have found that families in this situation spend somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 more per year on these hidden exhaustion expenses. Call it $7,000. Final number. That $62,000 second income, after taxes, after childcare for 2 kids, after commuting, after exhaustion spending, nets the household $2,000 per year. $2,000. Write that number down. Look at it. Maxi's wife leaves at 7 a.m. She gets home at 6:30 p.m. She misses breakfast with the kids most mornings. She misses bedtime half the week. She is exhausted. Constantly, and the net financial contribution to the household is $2,000 a year. That is $38 a week. less than $1 per working hour. The promise said 2 incomes build wealth. The math says 2 incomes, structured this way, are barely breaking even, and that is before anything goes wrong. Now I know what you are thinking, but this does not apply to us. We do not have 2 kids in daycare. Our commute is short. Our expenses are different. Fair. Let us adjust the numbers. Remove 1 child. You save $15,000. Cut the commute in half. Save $4,000. Reduce exhaustion spending. Save $3,000. That brings your net up to around $22,000. Better. But here is the real question. Is $22,000 per year, after sacrificing time, energy, health, and presence at home, the financial security you were promised? And more importantly, what happens when something goes wrong? Because here is what the data actually shows. Studies show that 2-income households are statistically more likely to face bankruptcy than single-income households. Not because they are reckless, because they have zero margin. Both incomes are fully committed to fixed monthly costs. There is no reserve. There is no safety net. There is no backup plan. Let us go back to the 1970s for a moment, because something existed then that most families have lost today. In the single-income era, a typical middle-class household ran on 1 paycheck, and that paycheck was genuinely enough. A single median earner could afford a median-priced home on roughly 25% of their income. Healthcare was manageable. Childcare barely existed as a cost. But more importantly, that second potential income, the stay-at-home parent, was an untouched reserve, an insurance policy. If the primary earner lost their job, got sick, faced any crisis, the second parent could enter the workforce. That was the margin. That was the real safety net. Now here is what happened when 2-income households became the norm. Housing prices got bid up. Because suddenly, everyone had twice the purchasing power competing for the same homes. Median home prices have more than doubled relative to inflation since 1970. Healthcare costs? Up over 600%. Childcare, which barely existed as an expense in the single-income era, now runs over $11,000 per year, per child. The backup plan got activated, and then it got consumed. And now, there is no backup left. Both incomes became necessary just to maintain the baseline, and the cost of living rose to absorb both of them. Here is the psychological layer that keeps this illusion alive, even when the evidence says otherwise. The gross numbers look impressive. Maxi sees $133,000 on his tax return and makes decisions accordingly. He buys the house that $133,000 qualifies for. He takes the car payments that $133,000 can technically support. The bank enthusiastically approves the $420,000 mortgage. Why would they not? The combined numbers look great. But the bank is not approving a mortgage based on what is left. After taxes, childcare, commuting, and exhaustion spending, the bank approves based on gross income. And Maxi is making lifestyle decisions based on that same gross number, a number that is, in reality, significantly smaller than it appears. This is what makes the double income illusion so sticky. The illusion feels real because the gross numbers are real. 133,000 is genuinely 133,000. What the illusion hides is that the structure consuming those 2 incomes is also real. And it has been carefully systemed to absorb every dollar of combined earnings and leave the household exactly where it started. One unexpected expense away from crisis. You were told, both of you work, combine your incomes, and you will be secure. What was quietly omitted, your fixed costs will expand to match those combined incomes. Your safety net will disappear, and you will be more financially fragile than the single-income families your parents grew up in. That is not bad luck. That is a system, and it works exactly as designed. Maxi closes the laptop. It is almost 11 p.m. The house is quiet, and something has genuinely shifted in how he sees things. Low-grade shame he has been carrying. The feeling that he and his wife must be doing something wrong because they make good money and still feel broke. That is starting to dissolve because he can see now. This is not a personal failure. This is a structural one. Millions of families are sitting in exactly his position tonight. So what do you actually do? Step 1. Run your own net income calculation. Take the lower of the two salaries, subtract real taxes, real childcare, real commute costs, and real convenience spending. Look at the actual number. Whatever it is, that is your real starting point, not the gross figure. Step 2. Audit your fixed costs against your true net income, not your combined gross. If both full incomes are already committed to fixed monthly expenses, you have no margin. Margin is everything. Margin is what survives a job loss, a medical emergency, a market downturn. Margin is not a luxury. It is the entire strategy. Step 3. Protect your flexibility. Deliberately. The families who build real wealth in this economy are not always the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who refuse to let their fixed costs expand to consume both incomes, who kept one income as a reserve instead of a necessity, who questioned the conventional wisdom early enough to hold on to their margin. Our grandparents with one income had something that most two-income households today have lost. Not more money, more flexibility, the ability to absorb a shock, the ability to change direction, the breathing room to have one partner step back when life required it, without the entire financial structure collapsing. That flexibility, that margin, that is worth more than most families realize. And the conventional wisdom never told you it was something you were trading away. That gap between what you earn and what you keep is where your freedom lives. The conventional wisdom said two incomes equal security. The math says something different. Now you have seen both. This content is for educational purposes only. It should not be considered financial advice.